Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Suyatno. My name is Aina Ridwana binti from Group 7, and for the first poster I will be explaining about the history and the rise of Hinduism. Hinduism is considered one of the oldest religions in the world. Western scholars regard Hinduism as a synthesis or fusion of various Indian cultures and traditions with diverse roots and no state founder. This synthesis is believed to have developed after Vedic times between 500 BCE and 300 CE. First and foremost, what are the Vedas? The Vedas itself mean knowledge. To put it simply, they are collections of the most sacred knowledge in the Hindu tradition. The name of these four Vedas are the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, and the Atharva Veda, while the Upanishads are the collection of Vedic texts that contain the earliest emergence of some of the central religious concepts of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The Upanishads, also known as Vedanta, the end of the Veda. The collection is one of the sacred texts of Hinduism thought to contain revealed truths concerning the nature of ultimate reality, or we know as Brahman, and describing the character and form of human salvation called moksha. Moreover, the Upanishads are found in the conclusion of the commentaries on the Vedas and have been passed down by the oral tradition. Hinduism originally started as a tradition from within the Brahmin class, making it difficult for people of lower caste to access, but it gradually grew more popular. So during the Vedic period, there were two epic poems called as the Mahabharata, the Ramayana were created and eventually written down in the earlier century of the Common Era. So this poem laid out information about the Hindu values and God as Vishnu and Shiva, and they were true dramatic story of love and war. When the story were written down, they spread more quickly and easily throughout India. Next, Gupta empires. The Gupta era is often regarded as the higher point of ancient Indian civilization. It was a period of great achievement in art, literature, and science. It was also a period of change as Indian civilization slowly evolved from its ancient form to its more modern manifestation. In addition, the Guptas were the first to build Hindu temples to fulfill a certain purpose. The Gupta era also saw the emergence of the classical art forms and development of various aspects of Indian culture and civilization. On the other hand, the Gupta emperors, unlike many other monarchs of the time, did not claim any supernatural authority to rule. Moreover, law and tradition were considered as supreme authorities in government. The law was a compilation of sacred code, custom, and the opinion of the sages.
So I will continue the description for the second poster. Here there are several immediate causes of Hindu decline, one of which is the theory of karma. The theory says that one's present condition is a result of one's doing in past life. Indeed, Hindu philosophy recognizes the contribution of past life in making the present. However, at the same time state that Purushartha or effort can overcome the past. In this regard, it has been explained that Rama had travelled to religious places in his youth and wanted to retire from active life as he began to consider the world as meaningless. Similarly, it is Krishna who taught Arjuna to engage in action. The basic message given by the asserts is that past life determines the desire of this life, and one must ever act to fulfill and transcend this desire. However, this has led to the second point of decline of Hinduism, where Brahmin teachers perverted this teaching by making the idol of Rama and Krishna and numerous gurus object of worship. In doing so, they taught withdrawal from the world. Therefore, they denied the teaching of Rama and Krishna. Apart from that, the Brahmin were interested in extracting money from the worshipper for sustaining their own good life. Therefore, they first denied action, established Bhakti Yoga that saved them from engaging in action. This selfishness of the part of the Brahmin was responsible for the decline of action by the Hindus and the decline of Hinduism. Next, the Brahmin then deliberately created a schism between Hinduism and Islam. In this regard, it can be known that Hindus worship and draw energy from three deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and for Islam, draw its energy from Allah directly without any intermediation by other deities. This indirectly shows that this is the secret of the expansion of Islam in India. Seeing this situation, Hindus will not only definitely engage in dialogue with Muslims in the Shasharta tradition that is prepare their own method of worship and in connection with the para Brahmins. Instead, they have chosen to withdraw deeper into their worship of the idol of Rama and Krishna. This is because they do not wish to connect with para Brahman and are losing the plot that is unfolding in the world today. And the last one, Brahmin also created a schism between Hinduism and Christianity. This is because the strength of Christianity is focused on the welfare of the poor. However, the Brahmin opposed the matter. They said that it was the fate of the poor to remain poor and we should not alleviate the suffering. So, they should be allowed to suffer so that they transcend the sin done by them in their past life. Well, that's all from me and will be continued by the next presenter for an explanation in the Buddhism section.
Next, let's together explore about the Buddhism in India. So as we know, Buddhism was first founded in India before continuing as being expanded to the whole world until today. Thus, it is important for us to actually know about the important factors that contribute to the spread and the rise of Buddhism, especially in India. The first factor is due to the rebellion against the caste system. So as a result, in the beginning of the 6th century, many people start to rebel against the caste system of Brahmanism as they think it became discriminatory for them. So later, they found out the message of the Buddha came as a welcome relief to the people. So they were easily drawn to the Buddhism by the simplicity of its faith and also its religious tolerance. Is the role of the Sangha itself. So Buddhism emphasizes the propagation of spiritual practices and the principles in the society. They also stress on the overall socialization of religion by organizing Sangha of the monks. The Sangha originated in the group of disciples who renounced the worldly life to wander with the Buddha and also listen to his teachings. So after the Buddha's death, his disciples continued together as a community, wandering from place to place. So this Sangha actively spread the message of Buddhism in India. The third reason of the rise and the spread of Buddhism in India is because of the royal patronage of the Buddhism. So the royal patronage not only patronage from the king but also includes the person who are associated like a royal court or the minister or also the queen. They use their money and influence to adopt it and support their religion. So they help Buddha to provide material resources, protection, and also help the Sangha and the monks to build stupas and also encourage the missionary work in India. So for example, the King Ashoka promoted the Buddhism expansion by sending monks to surrounding territories to share the teaching of the Buddha. A wave of conversion began and the Buddhism spread not only in India but also internationally, such as Burma, Nepal, China, Japan and many more. Also, as a Buddhist emperor, Ashoka believed that Buddhism is beneficial for all human beings, so he built a number of stupas. So the Buddhists will visit the stupas to perform rituals that help them to achieve one of the most important goals in the Buddhism, which is to understand the Buddha teaching and known as the Four Noble Truths.
Okay, so now I will explain on the Buddhism decline in India. As you can see on my sides, that the factors that lead to the Buddhism decline. So the first factor that lead to the Buddhism decline is the internal issue within Buddhism. One factor for the demise of Buddhism in India is monks' moral and ethical degeneration. Earlier Buddhist literature mentioned the monks' attitude. For example, famous monasteries have wealthy because they have village, land and animals, yet monks have been seen visiting sex prostitute, drinking beer, stealing, robbing and even functioning as matchmaker. Some researchers blame tantric cults or tantra practices for the decline. The Vajrayana is criticized for fostering moral chaos as many monks visited their teachers with female companions. Another reason is the Sanskrit was more of a literary language at the time. The laity returned the favor by basically switching or at least shading their allegiance to other belief system, as one scholar puts in. When the Gupta Empire fell, there was a period of enormous instability in India following the 7th century. So another factor is Buddhism competition with Hinduism. The Mahayana emphasized image worship, prayers, grandiose ceremonies and rituals, creating a Hinduism approach. The acceptance of Buddha as an incarnation of Vishnu by Brahmanism dealt a blow to Buddhism. Because Buddhism is adaptable, the people kept their own rituals and custom. Since lay people had no norms, religious identification, social codes or modes of devotion, they remained in their last Brahmanic folds. Thus, Buddhism failed to produce a socially identifiable Buddhist group. Lack of support from subsequent Brahmanical kings and royal also led to its decline. However, when Vaishnavism and Shaivism gained strength, the kingdom that supported them became powerful and Buddhism began to lose royal favor. When the Senas came to power, Shaivism took over and Buddhism was thrown out. Besides, the factor of the influence of Islam and its competition also led to its decline. When Muslim conquerors arrived in the 7th century, Buddhism was already declining. Thousands of Buddhist monks were destroyed in the 12th century and thousands more monks escaped to Bengal, Bangladesh, Burma, northern Thailand, Nepal and Bhutan. Finally, the invaders pillaged and torched the Buddhist institution, resulting in the complete disappearance of Buddhism in its ecclesiastic established forms. So, to summarize, the liturgy of the monks ensured that Buddhism was a leisurely way of life, deviating from its essential aim, which was to spread the truth, practice it, and lead fellow men to enlightenment. This harmed the image of monks who represented the Buddha's philosophy. The competition within Buddha also influenced the decline of Buddhism in India. The more Brahmanic monarchs refused to cooperate and Buddhism lost necessary support. The Muslim conquerors pillaged Buddhist temples and burned what remained after various attacks, and Buddhist monks had no choice but to flee for their lives.